Hello, everybody. This is the Cartel and the War Pigs with the Fantasy Bros for week. What is it? 9, 8,
10.
10, 12. Week 10. We got a lot going on today. We're going to cover a lot of material. We got a mailbag. I got a mail from one of our fellow members of MFFL. Some questions. We're going to talk about trades, transactions. Got a cool little bit that I created just for this week that I think will be fun. Let's start with the recap. Let me bring up our little thing here. All right. Take it away, Corey.
All right. Entire superstar division loses this week. Nobody made up any ground. Honolulu Blues falls to 6-3. War Pigs 5-4. Bots, who cares? Kabasa Kings 1-8. So that is still a 2-team race in that division. All-American division. Cartel wins his third in a row, goes to 7-1-1. Sticky wins 5-4. Still, technically, how do you figure that out? Oh, 2.5 back, it says right there. I'm stupid.
Oh, yeah.
That tie throws me off. Bullies win again, somehow 4-5. Commandos go to 2-7. Not sure if he's mathematically eliminated, but he's getting there. And the Power Pack division.
Bionic Commandos is emotionally eliminated. I don't know about mathematically.
Yes, as most of us are. Power Pack division, Untouchables lose, go to 7-2. Hazards wins third in a row, puts him only 2 games back. Bad Company wins, still 4-5, still in the hunt. Lead Dogs win, go to 3-6. Could technically still be in the race, probably is. So basically that division, everybody won except for the Untouchables, so they all made up a game. So pretty interesting there.
Yeah, I feel like, there's 3 teams at the top of each division that, barring any big injury or super bad run of luck, should be the 1, 2, 3 position. Who gets first round buys probably still to be decided. With Nandu losing Derrick Henry, I think that those ripples are still going to be felt off through the rest of the season. We'll see what happens now with Cook going out for Untouchables potentially. That might have an issue. So there's still a lot of football, and there's still some big matchups coming up. I looked ahead this week, next week, and the week after, and there are some ones that could decide whether you get in as the 6th spot or the 5th spot. So unless you're probably Kabasi Kings and Bionic, I wouldn't give up just yet. Maybe Lead Dogs. I don't know if they can make it either. Also, I noticed something else that I thought was interesting. It's like number 1, Honolulu Blues, points against 886. Way more than anybody else in this division, way more than anybody in our division. And number 3 here, but the people with the biggest or the highest points against are actually in first and then first and second position, which shows you the strength of their team. And then also it's a little bit of luck. I mean, I'm 7-1. I've had one of the lowest points against.
Part of that is skewed though, because anybody that played the bots in those first 3 weeks has roughly 100 points taken off their score. So that's not really going to tell you exactly, including you. You guys went head to head, right? And both got zeros out of it. So
that makes more sense. I was like, wow, that's really interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it is like that. You're right. Some teams end up just scoring 120 and getting scored 100 against them every week. But in this case, there's a couple teams that it's not going to be accurate for.
I feel like there's always 2 types of teams on opposite ends of the scale every season, but who it is changes. Like one year I had the most points in the league and I was like 3-8. I just hit the wrong team, the wrong time every single week. They had their best week ever and they would beat me. And the flip side is you have Broad Street Bullies, right, who has a team that probably shouldn't win a lot and they're 4-5 or they're in the mix. So, I give Broad Street Bullies a hard time, but when Tom Brady's playing the way he is and you got Najee Harris giving you 15 or more points, that's a basis that you can grow off of. And that's what Kings is missing. They don't have those guaranteed, 30 points. You want to go into the recap of each individual game?
Yep.
Let's do that. First one up. Biohazard's Bionic Commandos.
Yeah, I mean, this is a blowout, and it's not even a great score. 90 is okay for the Hazards. Bionic Commandos just everything came out in the wash there. He got basically nothing across the board except for Melvin Gordon and Derek Carr. Everybody else in single digits. Nothing on the bench except for his kicker had double digits on the bench. There's so that he wasn't going to win this week. That's unless he played, Terry or me or something. And then Hazards had a lot of guys, most notably the Arizona connection on the bench injured, and still pulled out a win, starting Justin Fields. And McCaffrey did play and get some 10 points. He looked okay. He looked rusty like you would expect.
Yeah.
Pittman did good again. So that dude is just continued rising star. But it's I know it's weird to say pedestrian 90, but that's kind of what it was. But it's all he needed. So
yeah, 90 will probably win you half the games, half the time.
Yep.
It's the way it goes, right? If you're in the 60s, you should never win. And if you're over 110, you should probably win. That doesn't mean you won't be outliers. I was with Tim this weekend, and I watched him go round and round for like 45 minutes about, should I start this person? Should I pick this person up? Like, it was funny to see someone else go through what I go through, and I bet we all go through, is second guessing yourself. You're like, yeah, but Chuba's left-handed, and if he gets the ball on the right side, and like, you can overthink for sure. And I think this is probably a very frustrating game. Like, Justin Fields was a pickup because Kyler was on bye. So if you can get a picked up off the waiver quarterback and still win with your Kyler Murray top 3 quarterback out, that's solid. But I've got to think that he's frustrated with Judy not playing like he should be. Deebo Samuel is a great receiver. They look like shit all week. And then the other side being Bionic, Stephon Diggs still has not kicked into first gear. I mean, out of first gear. Boston Scott, who played well in the weeks past, really didn't do anything. Melvin Gordon, who knows? Could be him, could be Williams any given week. Like, it's just hard to count on any of these players to be consistent every week with double digits. And if that's the case, it's going to be an uphill battle. Doesn't mean you can't still win. But Chris Carson being out didn't help either. But we don't know what he's going to be like when he comes back from the neck injury. So we will see. So yeah, I agree. That was a blowout. It was kind of close until the 4:00 games, and then he had already beat Bionic and hadn't even played his other guys, so it didn't even move in. Let's do a game that probably will matter a little bit less, since it's the bots, Bad Company and the bots.
Yeah, I think we're all happy to see the bots go down, right? I mean,
for sure.
But Bad Company had to win this, right? This was kind of a make or break. He ends up 3-6 if he doesn't win this game. And it was obviously very close, 192. Massive, just incredibly gigantic game from James Conner is what won him the game, 35 all by himself. And it's really just the running backs. I mean, Tannehill got 16 is okay for a quarterback, but both running backs combined put up almost 60. Nobody else did anything. Look at the rest of his team. He's got nothing. He got nothing from anybody else. He's got great receivers. They didn't do anything. So that was huge. I think that was a really lucky win, honestly. There's no way Connor ever scores 35 points again.
No, he played the perfect lineup, absolutely perfect lineup. He got 0 points for Mercedes Lewis, which hurts. And you're right. If James Conner had gotten 2 touchdowns and not 3, he would have lost. Like, it was that close. Tannehill and AJ Brown, if and when they connect, magical, right? You're going to get double points to be great. If they play like they do, they run all the time, or they don't get a lot of touchdowns, then this is what can happen. And on the bot side, the bots are the bots. They're on autopilot for the most part. Stafford didn't really do well. Chubb showed up. Chubb's on COVID now, I think, so maybe next week will be a little bit tougher for him. Freeman was a pickup for him, like off waivers, I think, and he got 14 points.
Yeah.
I mean, good. There's like 11 running backs in Baltimore. You never know who's going to score any given week. It's kind of like the whole Philadelphia situation. Like, that's the luck part that you always talk about. Is yes, he drafted him out of all of the choices, so that was skill. But at the end of the day, who gets the touchdown is luck.
Yep.
And then DJ Moore, great wide receiver. Quarterback play has been bad. Darnold's now out. They have BJ or PJ something, like, who gets that?
He got hurt too. Didn't DJ Moore get hurt too?
Oh, I didn't know that. Maybe.
I don't know if he came back in the game. I remember him getting hurt. I don't know if he came back or not.
To be honest, I would act like I was hurt to get out of that game too.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, enough about that. And also when for the bots next week, when James Robinson's back in, which his foot's better, and Swift is back in, that's a tough team. Like that, they could beat any given team any given week, which sucks.
Yeah.
If they end up getting a playoff spot, then that means that someone that didn't deserve it gets one. So everything kind of moves up. So I'd rather have the bots lose and not get a playoff spot, so the people that get the playoff spots earned them straight out.
Yeah.
Lead dogs, Kabasi Kings, super close game.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is another laydown week. Kings, Mike thinks that he's going to play spoiler and is excited about possibly being a spoiler, and then loses by 40 to a 3-6 team. Well, 2-6 at the time. And I feel bad for him. This is a 3-time champ in our league who is complete bottom barrel right now. And I can't imagine, everybody's competitive, and that's hard to take. He also ends up with, Rodgers doesn't play this week because he's a moron. Jamal Williams, who does okay in Detroit at running back, didn't play or was on bye. And then you get Emmanuel Sanders, who's had some really good games, but the entire Buffalo team decided to shut it down this week. So you get nothing there. Kadarius Toney is a guy at the Giants that gets talked up all the time on the fantasy shows. People talk about him all the time. Oh, he's going to be great. He's going to be the future, blah, blah, blah. He gets 0.7. I mean, there's luck here, of course. There's also you got when you're starting Jordan Love, what do you expect? So.
Yeah, we watched this game. I expected Love to do a little better. I was like, we're seeing the passing of the baton. He's going to blow up, and he's got some work to do, which I understandable. It's a different, being in the game is different than watching the sidelines. So like maybe he is the future. Who knows? But yeah, to your point, anytime the Rodgers is out, I think Jeffrey Wilson's coming back this week, and then I saw something else that was interesting. Javonte Williams is going to be a keeper for him. I feel bad because Kabasi Kings is obviously a good owner, right? He knows fantasy. He's plugged in. He's making moves. But not only is he probably going to end up in last place, he doesn't even have the first place pick. He traded it for who knows what, for who knows when. So then it's like even the rebuilding block that technically he would have, he doesn't have. And he has no players. Like when I looked through to do a trade this week, I went to him first because I'm thinking, hey, if he's got players that I could just get and give him some picks, helps him build. There's no one there that I could take that would be better than what I'm starting. So it's like there's no juice there,
No, there's nothing there, unfortunately, for him. So
well, we're rooting for you, Mike. On the other side, we got lead dogs who continues to make moves and try to get his team in the best possible position for next year. I talked to him via text, and he wants to play upset and wants to win games still, but also realize.
Did you talk to him? I didn't hear anything about you talking to him at all. Really? Yeah. You guys texted and worked out something? I didn't hear anything about it.
We did. We'll talk about that. That's the next bit. Okay. So yeah, he gets the mathematic part of it, and his team has a good core, right? He's traded out some good players over this season and last season, but he's got he got a top tight end. Devontae Smith could be something. He'll get Lamar Jackson back. He's got CEH, which he thinks will be good. I don't really agree, but he could come back and be something next year. Fournette's having a great year. He was on bye. Kareem Hunt. I mean, he's got some pieces. What he needs to do is, and we talked about this, is grow through the draft, which is why the picks are so important. And maybe you get lucky. And I'm looking at his Odell Beckham's coming. Was he going to the Saints, the Seahawks, or the Saints, Seahawks, or somebody else, a third team? Oh, well, he's going someplace. So that might be a nice, if he ends up resurrecting his career, could be some points for Rod as well. Okay, we did that. Let's do Honolulu Blues. This game was over before it started. As soon as Jonathan Taylor blew up for whatever he did that Thursday night. And then you could just tell by the end of by halftime or at the end of the early games, he wasn't going to catch up. It's just one of those games where you just get caught and just doesn't go your way.
Yeah, I mean, I thought this would have been close if, again, he loses Henry the week before, so there goes that key. And instead of a 3 running back attack like he usually gets, he only's got 2 of them, and then neither one of them really did anything on top of it because Aaron Jones lost his quarterback, so that makes him worse. Mahomes has been on a downswing for weeks, if not the entire season. He ends up having to start Van Jefferson this week, who everybody seems to like, yet he never does anything. Mike Williams did nothing. Robert Woods had a decent game. Kittle came back, so that was good.
He'll look great.
This is a bad week. This is a bad month for him. I think 3 out of 4 games he's lost. So honestly, this is what we talked about at the beginning of the season. A team that looks unbeatable, but if you get an injury or 2, you're in trouble, and that's exactly what's happened. And he's fallen off the map. I mean, he's 6-3, and I don't want to say he was 6-0, but it's got to be close. Maybe he was 6-1, but he doesn't look anything like a team that can win right now.
Not with Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes, he's paying, I don't even know what it is. I've looked it up, $4 or whatever it is for Mahomes, $3.80, whatever it is, and you're paying for pedestrian numbers, but you're paying
less than pedestrian. I said something on the site. I think Jordan Love had better stats than he did. That's insane.
He's a great quarterback. Like
nobody on that team is hurt, right? He has everyone. All the weapons are there, and I don't know what's happened, but they can't figure it out right now, and they look terrible.
But if you're him, you don't drop Mahomes.
No.
And so you're almost stuck. You're like committed for this season. And then, we'll see next season. Aaron Jones did a 50-50 carry split with Dylan, which is not typical. So his ceiling has come down a bit. Damian Harris has been great this season, probably overachieving. All the things that I see online are just like sell high because Harris has had a great first half of the season. Not necessarily going to carry you through the playoffs. What do I know? What do they know? Anything could happen. But Kittle looked like a beast. I watched a lot of that game, and he was making some crazy catches and some moves after catch. So I think, he IR'd Derrick Henry, so that frees up a lot of money for salary cap. He picked up a lot of people this week. So,
but unless there's a trade there, who are you going to get? It's not he's going to replace Henry with anyone off.
Exactly.
I don't know what he's going to do. If you scroll down there real quick, this is what I'm saying. He doesn't even have a backup wide receiver right now. He's got nothing.
I didn't know that. Yeah, he does now. When he dropped Henry, he picked up 2 people that I had on my watch list. Elijah Moore from New Jersey and somebody else. He's got some depth there, but I mean, the best thing that could happen for him is Zeke going down and Tony Pollard becoming relevant and having that as an option.
Yeah, I just think it's flipped. I think it's flipped. He was a team to beat or one of the teams to beat, and right now he's looking for a lucky pickup or a trade to make his team competitive because he's not competitive right now. So, and of course on your side, like you said, Jonathan Taylor, 32. That right there was like, well, as long as he gets decent numbers from everybody else, then you're going to be okay. And you did. You had a ton of
I was worried. Dak Prescott did not look good at all. Dallas looked like garbage, which makes no sense to me because he's been good all season. He was injured last week.
Yeah.
First week back, we're like, hey, he'll be ready to go. Maybe his calf's still bothering him, but he's got 3 great receivers, a good tight end, a good running game. Maybe your defense is good. Maybe it's not. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't affect that. And most of his points came in the fourth quarter, garbage time. But, I'll take 21 points from a QB. It's fine.
Yep.
Okay. Enough on that one. Let's go. We did that. It's you, right? Yeah.
Game of the week right here.
Yeah. I'll let you talk. I'll get something to drink. I'll let you show this one.
Yeah. I mean, look, on paper, there's no reason I should have lost this game. This is absolute. This is the epitome of luck, like I talked about. I thought and had bets on Cincinnati scoring a lot of points at Cleveland. I thought that was going to be a high-scoring game. Everybody was talking up both sides. And instead, Burrow plays terrible, probably his worst game of the year. No touchdowns, 2 picks, made a lot of bad decisions. You get Eckler, who's been great all year, does nothing. Gaskin actually scored, but his numbers are terrible. 20 rushes for 34 yards. Whatever. I haven't been able to count on him all year, so that's not surprising. And then again, I start Zach Moss and instead of somebody like Tyler Boyd thinking Buffalo's going to blow out Jacksonville. They're going to back up running backs, going to get a lot of play here. They'll run the ball a lot. And instead, they can't do anything. He gets almost nothing.
He got hurt.
Johnson, I mean, it's just down the list. Look at that. This is easily my worst game of the year.
Yep.
I would love to see the stats on when Broad Street Bully wins. If that's that, his opponent has their worst game of the year. It's got to be a high percentage.
For sure.
He's got like magic mojo defense for his team. So his team is not good, but he wins because the other team doesn't score. I don't know what's happening.
Maybe he's just a good owner. Maybe he just you don't get bullied, at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's a deal with the devil. I don't know how else to say it. I mean, look, he got a good game from Najee Harris. That's good. Devontae Booker had a good game. His quarterback was hurt at one point. He had 5 points. A Yuck scored for San Francisco. That was good. Nobody else did anything. He loses to almost everyone else in the league this week, but he played me, who had about half the points I'm averaging. So,
well,
I don't know how else to say to people, this is the part of the fantasy football luck that I hate. This is it right here. There's no reason this game should have turned out like that.
I'm just going to say one thing. You lost to a guy who got 5 points from the starting quarterback.
Yeah.
That's it.
You don't need to say anything else. It's pretty obvious.
Ooh, mic drop there. That's everybody except for last but not least. Also,
right there. I would have lost to Untouchables by a point too. He had 59.
We had a lot of blowouts this week, actually. Way more than usual. A lot of buys are creating that.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be a good game. I thought this was going to be a relatively high-scoring game. And instead, it just blows up in his face. Untouchables. Josh Allen ends up with 15 somehow. I don't know how he ended up with 15 points there, but he did.
50 rush yards.
And Dalvin Cook didn't score, but, got over 100. Chase Edmonds, I think, got hurt. Right. I'm pretty sure he did. So he would have had probably a much better game there. But again, Cincinnati looked terrible. Tennessee put 28 points up with doing weird trick plays and just scoring on defense and just all kinds of weird things. Kupp was fine, but no touchdown, keeps you under 10. And he was
doomed to
kicker get hurt. What happened with that?
Who?
His kicker, Zerline, did he get hurt?
No, it's funny. They went for 2-point conversions like 3 times.
Oh,
the extra point, and they sucked. So
I
they
didn't watch the end of that game, so I didn't see what happened.
Yeah, they were down so much they kept going for it on 4th down. Like it was just a really bad negative game script. And he just Zerline has COVID, so he just put him on COVID IR today.
Right. Yeah, I saw that. I mean, look, there's nothing he could have done. This is again obviously his worst game of the year. About half the points he usually scores. Sticky 88 is not good. That's not a good score. Like you said, maybe win about half the time.
Well,
but
Herbert
played the right person.
Herbert putting up 31 points is not.
Oh yeah, that was huge.
Every week either.
That was huge. Justin Jefferson with 14, but look at the rest. Nobody else has double digits. This is a terrible game.
And nobody on the bench.
Terrible game, but it counts. So
yeah, for sure. There's been a bunch of trades since this happened, so Untouchables team looks a little bit different now. But with Madison playing and Gibson being off bye, I think he got rid of Julio Jones. He got rid of Cooper Kupp. So we'll see what happens next week. All right, good recap. Let's go.
We missed Hazards and Commandos.
I thought we did that one.
We did?
Yeah, Justin Fields. Remember?
Oh yeah. You're right. My bad.
That's all right. Let's do the mailbag now. I got an email from one of our co-owners. Let me pull it up here. I think it was a pretty good one. It's well thought out. It says, I'd like to know
your most anonymous.
Yeah, I'm making anonymous. I'd like to know your most surprising team, most disappointing team so far this season, as well as which teams you think are built for continued success in the future. those built for now and those falling behind. So it's two parts. One is most surprising team, most disappointing team. And then separate is going to be which teams you think are best built for future success, which ones are built for success this year, and which ones you think are falling behind. Fair, right?
Sure.
No, it's not on it. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, let's start with what most surprising. I mean, taken honestly, most surprising is that we have a bots team. That's most surprising to me.
Yeah.
I know that's not what the question is, but that would be most surprising. Maybe Sticky Bandits
That's what I would say too.
being more competitive than anybody thought after trades and moves and all that stuff, I would say.
Yeah. And that's not a knock on Sticky. That's a nod to shrewd ownership and making good trades.
Oh, that was a compliment. That's
Yeah,
that's not a knock. I mean, it continues to surprise me that the Bullies win. He's right in the middle of it right now. He's 4-5. That's surprising. Smoke and mirrors. I'm surprised that the Blues have fallen off as quickly as they have, although we did talk about that, one injury away from falling off. I guess looking at the roster, I guess I'm not surprised that Kabasa Kings is that bad, but when the season started, I certainly wasn't thinking, oh yeah, that's the bottom of the barrel. So.
So that was which one's the most surprising, which one's been the most disappointing, which I guess is kind of the same coin, right? The other side of it. And I mean,
that's got to be Kings, right? I mean, I don't know how else you can phrase it. Everybody else in this league is pretty much in it except for Commandos. I think Commandos would be most disappointing too.
Yeah,
because we thought he had a much better team. It's not that he doesn't; it's just not working. So,
yeah, I'll probably say about the Bionic because he has a team that I don't have the roster in front of me, but I remember thinking they can win. That's how I look at teams. There's teams that should lose but win occasionally. There's teams that will never win, and there's teams that will win most. And Bionic was one of those ones that could win any given team. Like I'm a big fan of that. I was a big fan of Bad Company. He had let me bring up his squad real quick as an example. Can I do that here? No, let's do two rosters.
Well, and while you're looking around, he's averaging like 94 points a game, but he's 4-5.
Yeah, I mean he had who did he just trade away? He had Montgomery, Mixon, and he just gave somebody to Untouchables. Let's see here. He just gave Connor.
Right.
So that company at one point this week had Joe Mixon, solid, Montgomery, solid, and James Conner, who's now the RB1 in a huge offense, just had a monster game. 3 great running back ones. Meanwhile, Kings doesn't have any running back ones. Then he had Devontae Adams and Metcalf. So he has 2 top 5 wide receivers. He's got Hawkinson, which is a great tight end with Logan Thomas's and any slouch when he gets off injury. And he's
also over the cap since he picked up Wilson. So do something about that.
He's going to drop one of the quarterbacks, but or you better. And then he had a serviceable quarterback that could get some points. Like that's a solid team. Doesn't mean he's going to win every game, but he could win any game because everyone plays consistently. When he gave Connor up, now he's got Kenyon Drake, who's an RB2, and AJ Dillon, who's timeshare in a kind of sputtering offense, pass first. It just, to me, weakened him. So it took him from probably a top 4 team to probably a top 6 or 7 team. Again, my opinion doesn't mean anything. You could still win it all. I don't fucking know. But as I see it, it weakened his team. Now he got some trades, some draft picks for it. So maybe that's his play later on.
I mean, and what he's doing now is he's gonna be a two running back, 3 wide receiver team instead of the other way around. That's what he's
doing. Let's talk about that for a second. I mean, for me, I would rather have an RB1 on a mid-tier team than a wide receiver 1. Because a wide receiver 1 doesn't always mean that they get wide receiver 1 numbers. They get double teamed. It could be a game script issue, but if you're a running back, you almost always get those touches. So like give me, and I don't know, maybe it's just me, but that's how I look at it.
Well, I mean, look, James Conner just blew up, leads the league in touchdowns right now for running backs. And his backup just got hurt for
That's
multiple.
key.
And
That's
his backup just got hurt for multiple weeks. So my question is, okay, he got Cooper Kupp out of it. I don't care about the draft picks. He's still in it this year. He's 4-5. So I don't, again, I'm with you. I don't understand this trade because it makes him worse and he's still in it. So is he thinking his team is going to be better next year and he's got a better chance to run the table? He's still averaging 95 points a game.
I mean, there is no one that has something in my throat. No one that has better wide receivers than him right now.
Right.
I mean, Adams, Kupp, and Metcalf. Fuck, that's like three of the top 5 wide receivers.
Right. But again, like you said, the wide receivers can get shut down at any time, and you might not. They could get 5 up. Look at Tyreek Hill.
Yeah,
he cost $3 million.
3.5.
And every other game he does nothing. You can't count on that. That's why he's been traded so much, because it's like 1 week he gets 35 and the next 2 weeks he gets 10 total.
There's only one player that you can count on every single week to get 10 to 20 points, and that's Cordell Patterson. He plays for the Atlanta Falcons.
That's because he plays 2 positions at once. Because he's
That's right. I love that. I had another question about this. Oh well, fuck it. If I remember it later, I will. Untouchables real quick while we're talking about him. It was smart, right? He's been paying for Madison all season just to bank him on the bench. And now it matters. Now he has still started running back. He also has Gibson, and he just picked up Jarrett Patterson today. And he's got he had Jarrett Patterson already. And he has Jerry McNichols, who's I think the RB1 in Tennessee now that Cook's out, or maybe there's a committee there. But the point is, it was foresight, and it costs you money. It costs you money from your salary to park those people in the off chance that you need somebody. Had he not done that, he would have been at the end of the waiver wire. Somebody else would have picked up Madison or whatever, and then you wouldn't have had it. So, shout out to him for looking ahead and spending the money and sitting on it. So, all right, let's do he got my throat. Mailbag. Let's talk about, I'm going to own up something that I was wrong about. I'm going to pull up my photos here. I don't do this very often, but at one point about a month ago, Biohazards did a trade that was, we talked shit about it pretty hard. And it was Chris Carson and Justin Jefferson and Robert Tonyan for Josh Jacobs, Jerry Jeudy, and Jared Cook. And I wrote him a note to myself in a month to look back and see if it made sense or not. And we were all over him. Justin Jefferson's a top wide receiver. He's young, dynasty. So far, Carson has made 0 points. He's just not coming back from a neck injury. Jefferson's made 36 points, and Tonyan made 19, but is now on IR with ACL injury. So that's a total of 36 points for Sticky. Biohazards has Josh Jacobs, Jeudy, and Cook. And these points are since the trade happened, not season. Right. He had 48 points from Josh Jacobs, 11 from Jeudy, and 20 from Cook. So he got 79 points. He got double the point output, and I believe he might have gotten a pick too. I don't remember. So all in all, what the fuck do I know? Like, it was a good trade. I don't love Josh Jacobs or Jerry Jeudy, but if they work for you and it works, then keep my mouth shut. Good job. So I'm owning that on public TV. Anything you want to add?
I mean, to be fair, we didn't know Carson was going to be hurt. So you can't really count that as, I traded him because he's so good, and yet he ends up getting hurt and doesn't play for all those weeks. So you're missing a good 45 points, maybe 40 to 45 points there. So yeah. I don't know. Whatever. The whole point is, and I'll say this too, because people seem to be on it for me the past couple of days. We're all posting and talking our opinions. Nobody that's saying their opinion and then calling out somebody else saying you're wrong. They're saying they think you're wrong to themselves, right? Yeah. I think your trade was terrible. That's my opinion. Nobody's saying this is a fact. And I don't think anybody actually presents it like that, but sometimes people like to skew those things and make it, oh, well, you said this, so that's a fact and you don't believe anything else. Give me a break, guys. We're all spouting our own opinions. Nobody is saying, this is a law and everybody else is wrong except for me. it's everybody's opinions. So
Right.
stop acting like it's not an opinion, because it's all opinions.
I think to summarize all of that is you just fucking let it go. If somebody says something you don't agree with, you're just like, all right, cool. Like blue's the best color. No, I fucking blue's stupid. I like red. That's not you're arguing about shit that doesn't fucking matter. And for the most part, with all of these trades, we have no fucking clue how it's going to play out. None. Jerry Jeudy could blow his ACL out the first week. You're like, wow, great trade. Or he could blow up and be MVP. Oh, bad trade. Like we just don't know. So at the end of the day, it's the people in the transaction that need to make the decision for them. So there's going to be a winner and a loser typically. Sometimes there's a winner and a winner, and it just works. You're filling someone else's need, and they're filling your need, and that's what I try to do. And so, like to go back to the Lamar Jackson trade, I knew that Dak was serviceable. He's been out for a week, or he's out last week, and he had a bad week before and a bad week after. Is that a trend? Is that just because he was hurt before? Is he's hurt now? Who knows? Great receivers, but I knew for me to make a push, I needed to try to get an upgrade in a quarterback, and I looked. The people that had the quarterbacks that I would want were either still in the hunt and not going to trade, or they weren't any better than Dak. I'm not going to trade, Dak for Jerry Goff or for fucking, Jalen Hurts. It's just not going to, or even for Mahomes. So Rodney made sense because he's mathematically almost knocked out and he needs trades. And so the whole thing for me was, look, you're not going to go anywhere. Give me the player. I'll give you some picks, and at the end of the year, you can have him back. I'm not going to keep a quarterback anyway. So, like, his team's whole. He gets a draft. It's not a one-game rental. It's a season, the next 8 games, whatever it is, rental, or lease, whatever. And, as it makes sense for both of us, whether you agree or not, whether it's a good trade or whether you should have kept him and somehow made the playoffs and made a run. Separate conversation, your opinion, my opinion, whatever. But until and unless it's illegal at the league level. And I've gotten a lot of DMs from people that have done it also. And they're like, yeah, I get it. Then it is what it is. If we want to talk about it as a group and decide to not allow that, then that's not allowed. And I'll find out some other creative way to try to be one step above or ahead of everybody. Because that's what I try to do is find ways to bring value to both people and not, I don't want to rip anybody off. I'm not Tim Kroll. I don't want to take all of your good players. I'm just kidding, Tim. I know you don't do that.
Well, I think there's 2 things here. There's 2 things. One, you guys didn't tell anybody that was part of the trade, right? The trade was posted. There was no caveats anywhere. There was nothing added. So at first, a straight up trade like that looks terrible, right? To some people, it doesn't have to look bad. Yeah. And again,
if you're losing anyways, why would you?
For some reason, being the ex-commissioner makes what I say so much stronger in opinion to other people that they just feel like, oh, he just, he's changing the league, blah, blah. No, I can have my opinion just like everybody else can. I thought that was a terrible trade. Then we find out that that's not what the trade is. And that drastically changes that trade, because for Rod, that makes perfect sense. That's a great trade for Rod, right? All of a sudden he gets his player back, he gets a pick, and then he can still basically stay competitive this year with Dak and instead.
Right. That's right.
There's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yep.
And again, my problem is that rule shouldn't be like that. And again, I don't make the rules. Yeah, I do not make the rules. What I say does not become law. So just because I don't agree with it doesn't mean I shouldn't be able to express my opinion. You want to argue with me, which everybody does, go ahead.
Yeah.
But to say like, I can't express my displeasure with that rule or lack thereof is ridiculous. That's what Slack is for, and good or bad, we're all on it. And it's mostly been bad in a lot of people's opinion since we started using it, because there's been a lot of crap on there. But if, and I know you got fed up with me yesterday too, but look, I'm expressing my opinion. You don't have to like it. I don't like your trade, and you don't have to like my opinion. That's fine, right?
Well, agreed. So I think,
and again, I'm not saying, Jeff, that you did something illegal. Nobody's saying that. There is no rule that you can't do that. Do I think there should be a rule that you can't do that? Yeah, I do. But I can't do anything about it right now. We'll have to talk about it in the offseason, just like everything else that people complain about.
Well, where we disagree mostly is that I think getting a Dak Prescott and a first-round pick for Lamar Jackson when you're already out is still a good trade on its own 2 feet, personally. And
Sure.
I think it gets sweeter if you get Jackson back.
Well,
So,
you're
that's
talking
what-
apples and oranges, though, right? If he gets a player back, it's completely different trade,
100%. But
right?
the reason I didn't put that out there was because I didn't want to have a secondary conversation, which we're having now, about whether it's legal or not. It's just, it's between me and him. And so
Yeah, but it's not, right? You have to, I'm pretty sure you have to disclose the terms of the trade. Again, now we're getting into parts where
Yeah, I didn't know that.
loopholes that we don't have, where
I didn't know that.
if a trade is made, we should know all the parts of the trade,
Yeah.
right? Because I don't know, it seems like a legality thing, but we don't have rule. I don't know. Anyway, I don't have anything else to say about it. So.
Okay. So let's do our pre-cap for next week. To here.
No schedule, right? Well, you can do live scoring too. You just have to go to the next week, I think. Schedule's easier.
Is it?
Yeah, because it just shows them in a shorter thing.
Oh yeah, got it. There we go. Oh, but you can't see the teams. Let me go up here, live scoring. And then you said go to which week? How do you go to a different week?
Well, I don't know. That's the problem.
Oh yeah. I don't think you can do that. I can do that on my app. I'll go back to schedule. So I got it on my phone. Week 10. Let me look at my phone real quick and look at the forecasted numbers. Right. Yeah, I love Bully's talking shit today about how he's gonna curb stomp me and I'm don't get bullied. I swear to God, if he wins, I'm gonna buy.
That's exactly what I thought. He's got some magic mojo. You're gonna get the lowest score you've had all year, but for you, that might be 90. So you'll probably win anyway.
But he's got Devontae Booker and Herbert are on bye, as well as Saquon. Well, he's not playing anyways. Darnell Mooney. He doesn't have any running backs other than Carlos Hyde to play. He'll put Tom Brady in. So it'll be Najee Harris and Carlos Hyde. And, it's fine. I just don't think that maybe I'll lose. Who fucking knows, right? I mean, my vote's cartel on that one. What's your vote?
Yeah, obviously.
So let's do a Bionic Sticky. This one is forecasted for Sticky to lose, but not by much. We'll see. Let me see here what he's got going on. He's going to have Justin Herbert, Henderson, Zeke, Elijah Mitchell, Justin Jefferson, Amari Cooper, Hunter Henry. He needs to get a kicker. His kicker's on bye. If you didn't know that, you're welcome. And then, he's going to be right at 90 points. And Bionic Commandos is going to be right at 90 points. So in the end, it's going to be does Stephon Diggs finally, catch a touchdown and have a good game?
Well, there's 3 there, right? It's Diggs, Hill, who is complete boomer bust. Boston Scott, who had 1 good game.
He's garbage.
I think it was only 1. He did nothing last week, so I don't see how Sticky doesn't win this. I don't know that.
Chris Carson's back. Chris Carson's back though. Chris Carson's back, so that might be put Chris Carson in instead of Boston Scott, and all of a sudden, maybe it's
on the field Wednesday. Yeah, it says okay.
Yeah, although Herbert versus Minnesota is probably better than Carr versus Kansas City. Casey's got easy defense to throw against, but Carr hasn't really. He's so talented. He hasn't really, to me, been super impressive. But
yeah,
who knows? All right, so I'm voting. I'm going Bionic just because I can never vote for Sticky. What do you who you going with?
I'm taking Sticky.
Okay. We got Touchables, Biohazards, Brother-in-Law, Grudge Match. I mean, Kyler Murray versus Josh Allen's going to be fun to watch as far as quarterbacks go.
Assuming those guys in Arizona play, that's yeah. And
Kyler Murray's playing Carolina, and Carolina's got decent defense. And Josh Allen's playing the Jets. So I think this could be pretty nasty for Untouchables. I think he could throw up a lot of points. Cook not being in is going to hurt him. James Conner is also playing Carolina defense, which is pretty good on the run. So don't expect 3 touchdowns again from him. And Jamar Chase is on a bye, which takes away 10, 15 points automatic.
Yeah,
this is going to be closer than people think.
That's a big one. I don't know.
I'm going age before beauty. I'm going with Tim.
Yeah, I'm going to go Hazards too.
Let's see. Lead Dogs, Bad Company. Prescott, Fournette. Dearness Johnson's now the RB1 that Chubb's out with COVID as he plays.
Yeah, he might play though, so we don't know.
Travis Kelce. And then he's playing he's playing Bad Company, which is Tannehill. But Bad Company doesn't have. I mean, he has those receivers, but he doesn't really have a running game. AJ Dillon and Kenyon Drake aren't gonna put fear in anybody's hearts.
Yeah.
I'm going upset of the week. Lead Dogs over Bad Company. I hope it doesn't happen. I want Bad Company to win, but I think Lead Dogs pulls out a victory.
Yeah, I don't know. Assuming that Russell Wilson plays, which it sounds like he's going to, and they play Green Bay, and you got to assume that Rodgers could be back this week, although he didn't seem sure about it. That receiver trio, I think it trumps everything else. So I'm going Bad Company there.
Looking at the next one, which is Bots, Kabasi Kings. This is obviously very, very close as far as their forecast. Nick Chubb, if he doesn't play as COVID, they have to replace him with DeAndre Swift or James Robinson. Two pretty good options there. We'll probably take Devontae Freeman out and play both of those running backs, actually. And then from wide receiver, he's got DJ Moore with a backup quarterback. Kendrick Bourne, I honestly don't know who that is. Marquez Callaway.
Well, he's gonna have Lockett back in there because Russell Wilson's gonna play. So.
And Godwin.
Yeah, I don't see how Bots don't win this game. That should be a blowout.
Bots, unfortunately, will win. And then we have the Blues and the War Pigs, which you have Burrow on a bye, so you got to figure out your.
Yep, new quarterback time. So I have no idea who that's going to be. I haven't even looked at it. What else?
Good news is you're playing against Mahomes, so you could literally get Jordan Love and probably be okay.
Yeah. McLaurin will be back for me this week. So I'll have my wide receiver trio, probably run Gaskin and Eckler, and then it will depend on the quarterback. Yeah. I don't know. Honestly, I want my team to win, but I'm looking at Nandu's team. I don't see a lot of points there. Unless Mahomes turns it around here, where are the points coming from? Singletary hasn't done anything even when Buffalo was playing well.
Yep.
Right? Aaron Jones should be good if Rodgers plays, which we don't know. Damian Harris is questionable. Mike Williams.
I think he's due. Mike Williams is due for a big game, I bet, versus Minnesota. But still,
Robert Woods is hit and miss. George Kittle's the best player on his team right now.
Do you think Nandi's at a point where he should play Jalen Hurts over Mahomes?
I would.
Yeah, the running points.
Look at the numbers. I mean, the numbers aren't even close. Hurts outscored him like the last 3 weeks in a row. Don't do it against me, but
fair enough. Marvin Jones. Yeah, I mean,
I'm taking pigs. I'm taking pigs to win this game and take over first place. That's what I'm doing.
I'm gonna go solely because you don't have a quarterback yet and haven't even looked, and it's Wednesday afternoon. I'm gonna go with the Blues. I don't know who you're gonna get at without jacking up your entire cost structure at 40 cents or 80 cents or whatever. So I'm going Blues. I'm going Blues. So. Yeah. Cool. Let's see, anything else for you? I think next week I'm going to do it a little bit on, we didn't have a chance to do it today, on I want to take our records, like whatever our records, 7-2, 5-3, whatever. And I want to compare it to the NFL teams records. And I want you and I to talk about which MFL teams represents which NFL team. Like there's a team that's like is Kawasi Kings, is that like the Lions where they have all potential but they just can't quite do it, or is it more like somebody else, the Jags? So that might be fun to do.
All right,
cool. That's it. Everybody have a week. Good luck to everybody other than who am I playing? Oh, fuck you, Terry. Everybody else, good luck. We'll see you. Bye.